The breakup of Yugoslavia in the 1990s is one of the most tragic and complex events in modern European history. What began as a political crisis within a multi-ethnic state quickly escalated into a series of brutal conflicts characterized by ethnic violence, genocide, and the eventual dissolution of a once unified country. The wars in the Balkans left deep scars on the region and have had long-lasting repercussions for the people of the former Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia was created after World War I as a kingdom that brought together various South Slavic peoples, Serbs, Croats, Slovenes, Bosniaks, Montenegrins, and Macedonians, into a single state. Following World War II, Yugoslavia became a socialist federation under the leadership of Josip Broz Tito, a charismatic and authoritative leader who managed to keep the various ethnic groups united under the banner of socialism. Tito's Yugoslavia was composed of 6 republics: Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Slovenia, Macedonia, and Montenegro, along with 2 autonomous provinces within Serbia, Vojvodina and Kosovo. Tito's rule was marked by a delicate balance between these different nationalities, but his death in 1980 left a power vacuum and exposed underlying ethnic tensions. The 1980s saw rising nationalist sentiments across the Yugoslav republics, exacerbated by economic difficulties and the weakening of communist ideology throughout Eastern Europe. In Serbia, Slobodan Milosevic rose to power, capitalizing on Serbian nationalism and seeking to strengthen Serbian dominance within the federation. His policies, including the revocation of Kosovo's autonomy, alarmed other republics and deepened ethnic divisions. At the same time, nationalist leaders in other republics, particularly Croatia and Slovenia, began advocating for greater autonomy or even independence. The fall of communism in Eastern Europe further destabilized Yugoslavia, as the ideological glue that had held the country together began to dissolve. The breakup of Yugoslavia began in earnest in 1991 when Slovenia and Croatia declared their independence. Slovenia's secession led to a brief 10-day war with the Yugoslav People's Army, JNA, which ended with Slovenia effectively securing its independence with minimal bloodshed. The situation in Croatia, however, was far more violent. Croatia's declaration of independence was met with fierce resistance from the Serb minority within Croatia, who were supported by the JNA and sought to create their own state, Republika Srpska Krajina, within Croatian territory. The war in Croatia, which lasted until 1995, was marked by brutal ethnic violence, including the siege of Vukovar and the massacre at Srebrenica, where thousands of Bosniaks were killed. The most devastating conflict of the Yugoslav wars took place in Bosnia and Herzegovina, a republic with a highly mixed population of Bosniaks, Muslims, Serbs, and Croats. When Bosnia declared independence in 1992, it triggered a 3-way conflict between Bosniak forces, Bosnian Serb forces backed by Serbia, and Bosnian Croat forces backed by Croatia. The war in Bosnia was characterized by widespread atrocities, including ethnic cleansing, mass rape, and genocide. The Bosnian Serbs, under the leadership of Radovan Karadzic and General Ratko Mladic, carried out a campaign of ethnic cleansing against Bosniaks and Croats, aiming to create a greater Serbia. The most infamous event of the war was the Srebrenica massacre in July 1995, where over 8,000 Bosniak men and boys were systematically killed by Bosnian Serb forces. The international community was slow to intervene, but eventually NATO conducted airstrikes against Bosnian Serb positions, leading to the Dayton Accords in 1995. This peace agreement effectively ended the war by dividing Bosnia and Herzegovina into 2 autonomous entities: the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, shared by Bosniaks and Croats, and Republika Srpska, controlled by Serbs. While the wars in Slovenia, Croatia, and Bosnia were winding down, tensions in Kosovo were escalating. Kosovo, a province in southern Serbia with a majority Albanian population, had long been a flashpoint. The repression of the Albanian population by Serbian forces under Milosevic's regime led to the rise of the Kosovo Liberation Army, KLA, which sought independence for Kosovo. In 1998, the conflict between Serbian forces and the KLA escalated, resulting in widespread atrocities against ethnic Albanians. The international community, particularly NATO, was alarmed by the human rights violations and the potential for another humanitarian catastrophe in the Balkans. In 1999, NATO launched a bombing campaign against Serbian targets, which ultimately forced Serbia to withdraw its forces from Kosovo. After the conflict, Kosovo was placed under UN administration, and in 2008, it declared independence, though Serbia and several other countries have not recognized its sovereignty. The breakup of Yugoslavia and the subsequent wars left the region deeply scarred. The conflicts resulted in the deaths of an estimated 130,000 to 140,000 people, the displacement of millions, and the destruction of entire communities. The wars also left a legacy of ethnic hatred and division that continues to affect the Balkans to this day. In the aftermath of the wars, the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, ICTY, was established to prosecute those responsible for war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide. High-profile figures, including Slobodan Milosevic, Radovan Karadzic, and Ratko Mladic, were tried for their roles in the atrocities. While the ICTY brought some measure of justice, the wounds of the conflict remain deep, and reconciliation has been slow. The breakup of Yugoslavia also had significant geopolitical implications. It led to the redrawing of borders in the Balkans and the creation of several new states: Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, North Macedonia, and Kosovo. Each of these states faced its own challenges in the post-war period, from economic reconstruction to dealing with the legacies of conflict. The breakup of Yugoslavia was a tragic and complex process driven by a combination of nationalist ambitions, ethnic tensions, and the collapse of the communist order. The wars that accompanied Yugoslavia's dissolution were among the bloodiest in Europe since World War II and have left a lasting impact on the Balkans. While the region has made progress in rebuilding and integrating with Europe, the legacy of the conflict continues to shape the lives of the people in the former Yugoslav republics,